We have received the latest luggage guideline information from Carnival Cruise Line. This is something that they want each of their guests to know. So if you will be cruising with Carnival, this is information that you need, and we're going to share it all with you fast coming up. Welcome to the Travel Scouts. My name is Jason and we are your cruise information channel. We get you the cruise news and information you're looking for quickly without wasting your time. So if you love cruising, consider subscribing. Okay, rapid fire fashion so we don't waste your time. We have 15 items. Let's go ahead and kick it off with number 1. How much luggage can you take on a Carnival cruise? Carnival recommends that you only bring 1 suitcase per person if you are going on a cruise that is 3 to 5 days in length. If you're going on a cruise that is 6 days or more, they recommend bringing no more than 2 bags per person. Next, number 2, let's talk about the size and weight limits for luggage. Carnival's policy is that luggage is not supposed to weigh more than 50 pounds each. I have never heard of Carnival rejecting a suitcase for being over this limit, but that is the guideline. Then, here is the policy in terms of size measurement. When you lay your luggage flat on the ground, the height of it, the thickness, is not supposed to be more than 16 inches, and the width of it is not supposed to be more than 24 inches. Carnival stated that they have no requirements regarding the length of a suitcase. Then, number 3, let's talk about carry-ons. Carnival does have some recommendations for the carry-on. They say that guests must personally carry their boarding documentation with them. This could include passports, visas, citizenship documents, and family legal documents. Carnival also notes that passengers should personally carry on any valuables, medications, or items that you may need access to prior to your luggage being delivered to your stateroom. Plus, there is one item of special note, and that is regarding coolers. Large coolers are not permitted as a carry-on because they could impede the boarding and security screening process. So, if you want to bring a cooler as a carry-on, the guideline is that it can be no larger than 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. Moving on to number 4, let's talk about locks on your suitcases. It is important to know that Carnival Cruise Line advises that all luggage should be unlocked for security screening purposes. And then number 5, let's talk about luggage tags. Carnival does provide bag tags that should be attached to each of the pieces of your luggage. And these bag tags, they are specific to your ship, your sailing date, your stateroom, and your deck number. These bag tags are provided with your e-documents through the Carnival website after you complete the online check-in. You can then print them. Carnival asks that you attach these to your suitcases prior to arriving at the cruise terminal for embarkation. And know that they do not have to be printed in color. Next, number 6, what do you do if you forget to print and attach those luggage tags prior to arriving on embarkation day? Well, no fear. Carnival has said that you can also get some bag tags from the porters when you arrive at the cruise terminal. However, to avoid any confusion and any delay in the boarding process, they do recommend that you do this prior to arriving at the pier. But if you forget, they've got your back. Then number 7, how do you get your luggage from the pier onto the ship? Well, with Carnival, there's a few options with that. Carnival will let you take your luggage on board yourself if you desire. They are not going to stop you. But they want you to know that it may be a while before you have access to your stateroom. So their recommendation would be to drop off your luggage with the porters at the pier. Make sure you have your bag tags attached to your luggage, grab your carry-on, and head onto the ship to have some fun. Your luggage, it'll catch up with you in your stateroom in a few hours. However, very important to know, Carnival Cruise Line has stressed that checked baggage service is only available up until 2 hours prior to your ship's published sailing time. So if you arrive after that, you will be responsible for taking all of your luggage on board the ship yourself. Carnival has also noted that if you have any problems with the porters or their service, to be aware that they do not work for Carnival. So be sure to report any issues in that regard to the porter management that is on site. Moving on to number 8, when can you expect to have your luggage available to you? Well, Carnival wants you to know that on embarkation day, they are processing a lot of luggage and it can take a little while. It varies depending upon the ship and even depending upon the individual sailing of a ship. But it may be sometime after the ship actually sails away from the pier that your luggage will arrive at your stateroom. It's one of those things that is just hard to judge the time, and they encourage guests to be patient. Then on to number 9, let's talk about what to actually pack. Now packing, that's a big deal. A lot can be said there, but Carnival does have a few items that they want to remind people to consider bringing. The first thing they want to remind people to bring is a collapsible day pack or bag. When you go ashore at port, it's helpful to have something to keep all of your items in. They also want to remind you to bring a comfortable pair of walking shoes. And it may be a good idea to bring a rain jacket, poncho, or small umbrella, just in case. And then depending upon the climate that you're sailing to, they say that if you're going to a warm climate, they want to remind you that you may want to consider bringing a hat for sun protection. And if you are cruising to a colder climate, they want to remind you to make sure that you pack that jacket and you bring a few sweaters with you as well. Next, number 10, let's talk about bringing your own food on board. Now look, on a cruise ship there are plenty of food options available, but some people do ask about bringing their own food with them. So Carnival has said that they do allow you to bring pre-packaged and unopened food items with you. Nothing homemade is allowed. I think this has been put in place, for example, if you have that really picky kid that has that one snack that they like, or maybe it's a fitness buff and they have to have those protein bars. But whatever the reason, know that they are allowed pre-packaged, unopened. That's the key. Okay, number 11, let's talk about bringing alcoholic beverages on embarkation day. Each guest of legal drinking age can bring one sealed 750 milliliter bottle of wine or champagne. This must be carried on the ship. Boxed wine and other containers are prohibited. Also, beer and hard liquor is not allowed. And then number 12, let's talk about bringing non-alcoholic beverages. Carnival has said that you can bring these along with you as a carry-on item on boarding day, and here's the guidelines. First, guests are not allowed to bring any non-alcoholic beverages that are packaged in glass or plastic bottles. Anything that you bring must be in a can or a carton. And second, the quantity limit per passenger is 12 standard cans or cartons, not greater than 12 ounces each. For unlucky number 13, let's talk about those unlucky prohibited items that you cannot bring with you on a Carnival cruise. Buckle up, there's quite a few of these, but we're going to go through them very quickly. First, you cannot bring with you any kind of firearm or ammunition. And this includes any kind of replica, so you cannot bring any kind of toy that even looks like one. You can't bring sharp objects, so no knives or open razors. You can't bring candles, incense, coffee makers, clothes irons, travel steamers, hot plates. Basically anything that generates heat or produces an open flame. Know that there are exceptions to that. They know that ladies are going to be bringing their curling irons and their straighteners. That is okay. You can't bring hoverboards. You cannot bring any kind of martial arts or self-defense items, so no handcuffs and no pepper spray. Can't bring any kind of flammable liquids or explosives. So that means you cannot have any kind of private fireworks show from your balcony. No hookahs or water hookah pipes. No boom boxes or large radios. No shoes that have wheels on them. No lasers or laser pointers. Also, Carnival wants you to know that it is against the law for anyone to wear camouflage clothing in many ports that their ships visit. So while you can technically pack camouflage clothing, you need to be aware of the laws at the destinations that you will be visiting. Moving on to number 14, how do you file a claim if your luggage is lost or damaged? Well, if this occurs during embarkation, Carnival has directed that you should file a claim with their guest services desk. If this occurs during debarkation, the claim should be filed with one of the port agents. And they have stressed that you must file any claim prior to departing the cruise terminal. And once you have filed your claim, there is a process for submitting receipts for items and things of that sort. And then number 15 is some important miscellaneous notes. The first is regarding CPAP machines. If you bring a CPAP machine, it will need to be packed in your carry-on luggage. Carnival does have distilled water available for purchase. However, if you decide to bring your own distilled water, know that you will need to hand carry that along with you with your CPAP machine. They also noted the consideration of bringing bug repellent. So depending on where you're going and the time of year, that's something to consider when you're packing. Next, know that you can bring musical instruments. However, if there is a noise complaint, it will be confiscated and you will not receive it back until debarkation morning. Also know that you are allowed to bring drones, golf clubs, fishing rods, kites, and snorkel gear on a Carnival cruise. However, these must be checked in and can only be retrieved and used while at a port of call. And then Carnival wants to remind you that you may need closed-toed shoes. They noted that some of their excursions require closed-toed shoes, so that may be something that you want to consider bringing. A lot of times going to beaches, we're just thinking of sandals and flip-flops, but don't forget those comfortable closed-toed shoes. Okay, I hope that helps you on your Carnival cruise. Kelly and I, we have another Carnival cruise coming up very soon. So look, make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell on to stay up to date with the latest cruise news and information. The next video, it'll be coming out soon, but until then, keep on cruising and we'll catch you in the next video.